Hi friends, welcome to Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I'm Jenny and we live and garden here in Baltimore, Maryland, Zone 7. I'm down in my seed starting studio in my basement today, and today's project is to sow some sweet pea seeds indoors for transplanting out later in the season. So come on with me and let's talk about sweet peas. Thanks for joining me today, folks. I'm really glad that you're here. We're going to be planting sweet peas in these deep root trainers. As you can see, this is a brand new package. I've never used these before. These are used for plants that don't like to have their roots bothered when they're transplanted. Sweet peas are notorious for that, as I understand it. Also, maybe you could use this kind of a container for other plants that don't like their roots to be disturbed. Anyway, today's project is sweet peas. The special thing about these containers is that they come flat, and what you do is you fold them up and you close them up. Should kind of click together here a little bit. Yep. Come on now. Don't make a liar out of me. Should be easy. Why aren't you easy? All right, so you fold them up like this. You fill these with soil. You do this with 8 of them, and then you stack them in this frame that comes with it. You stack them all up, you fill them with soil, you plant your seeds, and then the seeds can grow long and deep. And these have a channel, kind of a groove on the sides of them, so that when the roots go down, they're encouraged to grow downward instead of spiraling around. And then the idea is these are special because when it's time to plant them, all you have to do is open this up. Your seedling will be sitting here in its soil, and the roots will be nice and firm. You'll be able to pick this up without jostling the roots. That's the real trick. And then you can just set it right down inside in the soil, and your plant is happier because you haven't tugged on it from a cell like this to try to get it out of its package. So that is the idea behind the root trainers. I'm going to be using these for the first time. In fact, I've not ever had real success with sweet peas at all. So I figure I'm going to give these a shot, and if I can make them work like some of the other YouTube gardeners that I see out there, then I will have figured it out. So that's the goal anyway. All right, so I need to set all of those up, and I'll do that in just a minute. But I wanted to talk to you about what seeds I'm going to be sowing today. So I have 2 packets of the same variety. These are Old Spice Mix. I have 1 packet from Baker Creek and 1 packet from last year from Botanical Interest. These are from 2022. These are from 2021. Same variety. I'm going to be planting both of these and comparing germination rates. I'm not sure if old seeds for sweet peas work as well as new seeds. We're going to find out. Anyway, I think they probably will, but just because I have them both, I'm going to plant them both. And then I have from Johnny's, I have Mammoth Choice mix of sweet peas. So we're going to be trying some of those. And from Botanical Interest from last year, Royal Blend variety. So all of these varieties to try, 4 different ones, actually 3 varieties, but 4 different packets. And I have 32 cells. So I think I'll be doing 8 of each of these. Let me just take a few minutes and get the root trainers all set up. Okay, that was a job done. One of them had a little bit of a tear on them. I think if I treat these kindly and gently, these will last from season to season, year to year. But if I get rough with them and tear them apart or just, whatever, crumple them or whatever, then they're one season use. So I think I'm going to try to take real good care of them and not have any more tears. And on this one that had a tear, I'm going to try to tape that up with some duct tape so that it doesn't get worse. Couldn't find any duct tape, but I found some Gorilla Tape, and I think that's maybe even better because it is very grippy. So I just need a little bit. Now I'm not taping this closed. I can still open and close it. I'm just taping along that crack that had started so that it doesn't get any worse. All right, so next is soil. I'm going to be using pre-moistened seed starting soil. I'm not going to be using potting soil in here. Pre-moistened seed starting soil. Happen to have some right here. And I believe it's still moistened, yeah, from the last time I used it. Yep. Now, you want your soil to be able to be formed into a ball, but not dripping water when you squeeze it hard. And you want it to be able to fall apart real easy in your hands and make your hands just a little bit dirty. Okay, so that's perfect. So I'm going to put this in here. These are ready to plant. Now, let's talk about sweet pea seeds. On the packet, it does say that if you soak them overnight, you'll have faster germination. And also, if you put them inside of a damp paper towel, inside of a sandwich baggie, and then store them that way for a few days, they will pre-sprout. And then you can see which ones have sprouted and which ones haven't. And then you know that you have good germination. Those methods all work. I'm not doing any of those methods. I'm just going to plant these seeds. It'll be a few more days longer before they'll germinate because they're not going to be as moist as they would be if I pre-soaked them or if I put them in that wet towel. But that's okay. I'm in no rush. I don't think this is all a hobby. It's all for fun. I will learn from this. Last year I did the paper towel method. This year I'll do this direct sow, right? It's not direct sow, but sowing straight in without soaking. And I'll just be happy with whatever comes of it, right? That's the goal. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is make my plant markers. Now, I ran out of the kind of plant markers, the white plastic ones that you buy at the store. So I cut up some lids from old soup containers, actually, from Chinese food takeout. And I'm using these as markers at the moment. Works perfectly fine. All right, so what do I have? I'm going to put the two different kinds of Old Spice right next to each other so that I'll be able to see how they do in comparison. Okay, these seeds want to be planted about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch deep. And I have found over the years and through all of my research, and it's been borne out in my experience, that most seeds want to be planted as deep as they are big. So if this seed is 1/4 inch in diameter, they need to be covered with at least 1/4 inch of soil. Down to a 1/2, that's fine. So I'm going to make some holes in my soil. Which one is this, Mammoth? Okay, so I'm going to make some holes in my trays that are about a 1/2 inch deep. Don't need to go very deep, but about a 1/2 inch will be perfect. I'm going to put 1 per cell. I might choose to do 2 per cell, but I'm just going to live on the edge here. Life on the edge. Just going to do 1 per cell and see what kind of germination we get. All right. I have quite a few left. That's good. So I'm going to tuck these guys in. Okay, so this type is done. I have 3 more of the same to do. I'm just going to do them the exact same way. Fantastic. Okay, these are all planted. I am not going to be putting vermiculite on top of these because I haven't found it to be incredibly necessary. If the seed packet says to do it, then I'll do it, but these didn't, so I'm not going to. Now I'm going to use a spray bottle to make sure that the top of the soil is evenly moist down to the seed. This might take me a second. Okay, there we go. There's a little bit of soil on the edges here. Get that cleaned off. And then I need to find a tray to set this in because there are drainage holes in here and I don't want to get water all over my shelving. And also I want to be able to bottom water, not top water. So let me see if I can get a tray that's going to fit. See if this growies, this might work out perfectly. Yes, okay. So this tray is from the Gardener Supply Growies Self-Watering Seed Kit and Seed Starting Kit. And it fits perfectly with this root trainer. And then the root trainer comes with an extra tall humidity dome because it needs the room. And so that fits down on top of there beautifully. Doesn't go all the way down to the Growies tray, but it does go down to the top of the frame that the trainers are sitting in. Okay, so now we're just going to wait. Please don't think I'm an expert on sweet peas because I have not yet successfully grown sweet peas ever in my life. This is an experiment. If I wanted to do a better job, I would probably have taken better care to pre-soak my seeds or to pre-germinate them in paper towel. I'm too impatient to do that. My calendar said to plant these seeds today, so I'm planting these seeds today. I know it wouldn't have been a big deal if I waited till tomorrow, if I had soaked them overnight, but this is the way I work around here, folks. I just wanted to get it done. So how long do these germinate? It says about 10 to 21 days. So it would have been faster if I had pre-soaked them, but 10 to 21 days, it is what it is. And then, okay, so after they germinate, I'll take them off of, I'll take the humidity dome off. Let's see, does it want to be, grow in cool conditions, 55 degrees or below? It's 65 degrees in this basement. So I think I'm actually gonna set these out into the garage until, at least until they sprout. Darkness aids germination, so that'll be great. They can sit in the garage in the dark, in the cooler air out there, and then when they sprout, I will put a light on them. I'll either bring them in here and put them under these lights, or I do have one tabletop light that I can put on top of them, and I might do that until they get a little bit bigger. but we're gonna see. Anyway, I'm gonna put these out into the garage right now. Let's go do that. Okay, so sweet peas are done for now. I am going to direct sow some sweet peas outside. I also have some going in the winter sowing method. This is one of the seeds that I'm going to try all 3 ways this year and see which one I can get to work. Okay, again, not an expert. Don't listen to me for sweet pea advice. Here's what I'm trying. I'm going to be planting them in 3 different methods, and then when they're ready to put into the ground for the winter sown and the indoor sown ones, then I'm going to try to put them out in the front yard into the ground, but I'm going to put like a pyramid type pole trellis up for them out in the front flower bed. And I'm either going to buy a pretty obelisk for both sides of the house, or I'm going to make one out of long poles that I already have. That's what I tried last year. And last year I got too impatient. They weren't doing very well. I don't know what happened last year. Same thing might happen this year. I don't know, but we're going to just try. So that's all you can do, right? Just try. All right, so these are done. Set you aside. Now, I have, my husband was cleaning out the basement and he found these. Anybody remember what this is? You youngins don't know what this is, but I'm guessing that if you're my age or older, you know what this is. Anybody? You're right. It's a 3.5-inch floppy disk case. Except they weren't floppy by then. They were hard, right? The little ones, little square ones. Kids today would say, oh, look, they 3D printed the save button. I've seen that meme before. All right, so anyway, I'm using these floppy disk cases to hold my seeds. Isn't that convenient? My husband found a couple of them as he was cleaning the basement. All right, so the rest of my project for today is to plant all of these indoors. Now, let me just tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to kind of breeze through them. I'm not really going to make a whole long video about planting all of these, but I'll touch on at least what I'm doing. So to start off, I'm going to be doing some things that I want to take upstairs and put in the kitchen under a grow light on the kitchen counter so that we can use them for cooking. And I'm going to put chives into this round container, and then when they're growing, I'll put this inside of a prettier white pot for the kitchen counter. So chives in there. And then in this little window box container, this I just picked up at the Dollar Tree, and I used it last year. I drilled holes in the bottom of it, so it is good to go there. I'm going to be sowing cilantro, lemon drop basil, and sweet basil in this container. And I'm going to have it divided into thirds. And so when these grow, I'm going to start them down here in the basement, but once they're up and established and ready to use for cooking, I'm going to set these 2 containers upstairs under a countertop grow light. The next thing I'm going to be doing indoors are some annuals. These are warm weather annuals, but the time to start them is now. Heavenly Blue Status. This is one that I grew last year and it worked really well, so I'm hoping it'll get more out of the same packet for this year. And then this says 2021 on them, but I bought them last fall, so they were packaged for 2022. Seeker White Status and Seeker Blue Status. So 3 colors of status. I have done winter sowing on all of these. So I'm going to be doing winter sowing and indoor sowing. And then finally, Gomphrena Atomic Purple from Baker Creek. I'm going to be doing these as well indoors. The container for these is going to be this Grow-Ease self-watering seed starting kit. I'm going to do these 4 things in these 24 cells, so 6 cells of each of those. And the last thing I'm going to be doing inside today is this Botanical Interest Mesclun lettuce. It's a mix, and the intention for this is to cut them as baby greens. So I'm going to be sowing them into soil in this container, which I had prepared for winter sowing, but I haven't used it for that purpose yet. So I'm going to put soil in here. It's got drainage in the bottom, and I'm just going to, just use this tray to store it in as a water catch. And I'm going to grow this under the lights down here, and hopefully I'll be able to keep some baby lettuce growing for salads and things down here in the basement. And if this works, I'll do some successions of this in the future as well. For the annuals that are going to go outside, I will use seed starting mix for those. But for the lettuce and the herbs, I will use potting mix. It's a little bit thicker soil, not thick, heavy soil, but a little bit more nutrient value in it. And so because the plants will be living in the thing that I'm starting them in, I'm not going to be transplanting them up. So I'm going to use 2 different soils for these purposes. Nothing real special here about how I'm sowing these. It's just the same as every other seed starting effort that I have shown you so far. This particular seed starting mix is the Espoma brand, and honestly, I don't like it as much as I like the Jiffy. This has bigger chunks in it. I can see like recycled peat pots that have been shredded up and put back in here. Normally I trust the Espoma brand, but in this case, I think Jiffy is the one that I prefer. But I have Espoma, so I'm using Espoma. Well, folks, things are getting pretty full under here, which is exciting. In this packet, I still have echinacea, verbena bonariensis, blackberry lily, and spinach that have not yet germinated. I think the spinach is going to be a no-go. It's 5-year-old seed. I don't think it's working. But the rest of them, I'm hoping they're just not within their window of when to expect them yet. So I think they're still coming along. I check them every day and I keep them moist. So I think they're doing all right. This is where I'm putting the chives and the basil and cilantro. I will need to spray these every day just to keep them moist because I don't have a humidity dome prepared for these. I could just cover them with plastic wrap. That would work, but that's all the way upstairs. So maybe next time I come down from upstairs, I'll bring some plastic wrap if I can remember. And then in here is where I've put the lettuce, and it should be germinating in just a few days. Thanks so much for joining me. It's getting to be nice and full in here in my seed shelves. Pretty soon I'm going to need to expand my lighting and turn these lights on. So that'll be a fun day when I have so many seedlings growing that I need 2 shelves worth of lights. I have a schedule full of more seeds to be sown this spring, so we're not done yet. I also have some things that I'm going to be direct sowing outside that I haven't done yet, and I might even do some more winter sowing of heat-loving annuals a little bit later in the season as we get a little closer to our expected last frost date. Hey friends, the video you just watched was filmed on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Today is the 25th, so we're 11 days later, and I wanted to show you the status of the plants that I sowed that day. The sweet peas all came up today. Not all, about half, maybe a little more than half of the sweet peas are up. So I've got them under the lights now, so that's exciting. The herbs back here have germinated, so they're coming along. I moved Poncho down here again He was too cold upstairs, so now I'm trying to keep him warm down here. I think I have one blackberry lily that has sprouted finally, and one white swan echinacea. No, two white swan echinaceas that have sprouted. In here are the spinach, still not coming up, and the verbena bonariensis, still not coming up. This is the status, and Gomphrena. So this one down here is Cosmos. So I didn't even show planting Cosmos, but I've got some Cosmos coming along. They sprouted yesterday, and I didn't get them under the lights today, so that's why they're stretchy. Hopefully they'll chill out. So here's the status in Gomphrena. There is the mesclun lettuce mix, and then back behind there are progress on radishes, mahogany splendor hibiscus. What else? Oh, what do we have there? Oh, stock. And over here are the snapdragons. The chives have not sprouted yet, I don't think. Nope. And that tray is some echinacea that I gathered from a plant outside, and I'm hoping that it'll sprout. So it's all good news here in the seed starting studio. Everything is coming along. They're doing the things they're supposed to be doing. And those sweet peas, even though I didn't pre-soak them or pre-germinate them, or I didn't cold stratify them, and I didn't nick them in any way, they still sprouted in 11 days. So pretty good. And also the two types of Old Spice mix, the Baker Creek ones from this year and the Botanical Interest from last year, they have equal germination rates. So that's good. So sweet pea seeds last at least 1 year with just as good germination as the fresh year. So that's all I have for you today, friends. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching with me, and I hope things are going well for you. I'll see you again real soon, friends. Take care. Bye-bye.